The rain fell hard that night, hammering the rooftops like it wanted to break through. The wind whistled down the narrow streets, carrying with it the cold bite of winter. Inside a cramped, dimly lit apartment, Daniel, a single father barely making ends meet, sat beside his son Ethan. The walls were thin, the furniture mismatched, and the only warmth came from a single candle burning weakly on the table. Daniel had nothing to offer his son but love, and tonight that had to be enough. Then, cutting through the sound of the storm, came a knock. At first, Daniel thought it was the wind, but then it came again. Louder. Urgent. When he opened the old creaky door, he saw her, a girl no older than 17, soaked from head to toe, her hair plastered to her face, clothes torn and clinging to her skin. She looked terrified, but there was a flicker of hope in her eyes. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "Please, I just need a place to stay, for one night." Daniel didn't have much. In fact, he had almost nothing. But what he did have, he shared. He brought her inside, handed her a dry towel, and wrapped her in the warmest blanket they owned. From the small pot on the stove, he poured her the last of their soup. Ethan, without hesitation, slid his piece of bread toward her with a shy smile. That night, around their worn-out kitchen table, there were no questions, no demands, just quiet understanding, and a shared meal that meant more than any feast. The girl sat silently, staring into the flicker of the candlelight as rain tapped against the window. Her eyes seemed far away, somewhere between pain and exhaustion. Daniel didn't press her for answers. He only said softly, "Whatever you're going through, you're safe here tonight." And for the first time in days, her trembling hands began to steady. When the first rays of sunlight slipped through the dusty curtains, Daniel walked into the kitchen to find her gone. The blanket was neatly folded on the chair. On the table sat a note, carefully written in slanted handwriting. "Thank you for saving me. I'll never forget this." Daniel held the note for a long time, wondering where she had gone. Life would move on, but something about her haunted him. Days passed, then weeks. Daniel returned to his routine, long hours in his tiny garage, fixing broken-down cars for just enough to cover the bills. Ethan played quietly in the corner with his toy cars, sometimes asking about the girl from the rainy night. Daniel didn't have an answer. All he knew was that their lives had touched for only a moment, and then drifted apart. Then, one afternoon, as the sun was dipping low, a sleek black limousine rolled to a stop in front of Daniel's old home. Its polished surface reflected a life Daniel had never known. A tall, sharply dressed man stepped out, holding an envelope in his hand. His eyes searched Daniel's face before he spoke. "You don't know me, but you helped my daughter. The night she came to you, she had run away after a terrible fight. You didn't know who she was. You didn't care. You just showed her kindness when she needed it most." Daniel opened the envelope slowly. Inside was a letter, and a check with more zeros than he'd ever seen in his life. The letter read, "You didn't treat me like a millionaire's daughter. You treated me like a person. You reminded me that there's still kindness in the world. I'll never forget the warmth you gave me when I felt completely alone." Daniel felt his knees grow weak. This wasn't just gratitude. It was life-changing. With the gift she left, Daniel repaired his little garage, bought proper tools, and built a business that would finally provide for Ethan's future. Their home, once cold and dim, now glowed with warmth. Ethan started school in a crisp uniform, his laughter filling the air. And Daniel carried the letter in his wallet, reading it whenever he needed to be reminded that good deeds never go unnoticed. On another rainy night, Daniel stood at his doorway, staring into the distance as raindrops fell just like they had that night. He thought about the girl, and how one act of kindness had connected two worlds that would never have crossed otherwise. Money could change your circumstances, but kindness? Kindness could change your heart forever.